with a Congress that will hopefully have more Democrats in the House and Senate in enacting legislation here on the mainland to strengthen workers' rights. And I'm referring to the Employee Free Choice Act. I don't think it helps that campaign when unions engage in conduct that besmirches the image of all labor. So I think as much as SEIU is doing in a valuable way to help with voter turnout and to help elect more pro-labor candidates in the election this fall, their actions in Puerto Rico, their internal behavior vis-a-vis their own members is not being helpful at this point.
And I'd like to go back to Rafael Feliciano in San Juan and ask you about the role of Dennis Rivera, who was a longtime leader of the 1199 here in New York, a national leader now of SEIU, and he spearheaded a lot of the efforts in Puerto Rico to bring the SEIU in. But you also have an election right there in Puerto Rico. You have a gubernatorial election coming up next week, but yet the governor of Puerto Rico and Dennis Rivera established, in essence, an alliance against you. Could you talk about that?
Yes. First of all, Dennis Rivera was direct intervention in the election against us. He was in Ponce, taking the direction of the election against us personally, but I want to say to you that Dennis Rivera and the government make an alliance. SEIU said that they will put money for the re-election campaign of Aníbal Acevedo Vilá, that is the governor of Puerto Rico. We said that is very bad for the labor movement because they make a compromise with the bosses and with the dominant class in Puerto Rico against the workers. The alliance was they put money for the re-election of Aníbal Acevedo Vilá, and Aníbal Acevedo Vilá used his own influence in the Department of Education and in the courts to attack our union. But at the end, the people that suffers that kind of action are the workers. First, the teachers, most of them are women, but also our students, because in his attack to Federación, they make many things bad for our Department of Education and for the educational process in Puerto Rico. We think that our victory is a victory against the dominant class that make a little crack in the hegemony of the bourgeoisie of Puerto Rico against the workers, and also is a big lesson to all the workers. If we have a very strong rank and file union, if we have a very democratic union, if the decision is taken from the bottom, we can make a strike and we can defeat the alliance of many sectors of the dominant class. And also, more important of all of that is that we can develop a real class conscience in our workers, in our people.
Rafael Feliciano, we want to thank you for being with us, President of the Puerto Rican Teachers Union, speaking to us from San Juan. Steve Early, stay with us in Boston as we go on to talk about distressed workers around the country, the working class in this country in this time of a global economic meltdown. We will also be joined by Michael Zweig, who has a new report on distressed workers, and Stephen Greenhouse writes for the New York Times about the working class in America. Stay with us.
Plant the food, we drive the cab, we load the ship, we run the lab, we build
the work. Ann Feeney, it was great to see her there at the Gandhi King Conference for Peacemakers last weekend in Memphis, Tennessee. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Mimi Goodman with Juan Gonzalez.
Well, Election Day is 8 days away, and the country remains in the midst of a deep economic crisis that many have compared to the Great Depression. The economy is the #1 issue on the campaign trail, and the major party candidates, John McCain and Barack Obama, discussed their tax plans, jobs, and the financial bailout on the stump. But no one is really talking about the working class in this country and the impact of the financial meltdown on their lives. A new study from the Center for the Study of Working Class Life suggests that neither McCain nor Obama have adequately spoken to the needs of 1/5 of the population, the 60 million Americans who are barely surviving in this economy.
Michael Zweig is one of the authors of the study called Economic Stimulus and Economically Distressed Workers. He's a professor of economics and director of the Center for Study of Working Class Life at State University of New York, Stony Brook. His most recent book, What's Class Got to Do with It? American Society in the 21st Century. He joins us in our Firehouse studio. We're also joined here in New York by labor and workplace reporter for the New York Times, Stephen Greenhouse. His latest book, The Big Squeeze, Tough Times for the American Worker. And labor journalist Steve Early is still with us in Boston. Michael Zweig, lay it out. Who are economically distressed workers in this country? And what is the picture of working class in this country?
Well, the working class is having a hard time in this country. And when we talk about economically distressed workers or people, we're talking about people whose incomes are so low that they can't get above the bottom of their housing market.
What was called the working poor?
Well, we started out calling them the working poor, and we found that really it wasn't the best term because we want to work in a way that engages people in the process. And when nobody wants to be poor, nobody wants to be called poor or low wage. So when we started out talking about the working poor or low wage workers, we came in the course of conversations with these workers to understand that maybe it would be better to find another way to talk about it. So that's why we came up with this formulation, economically distressed, which really talks about the content of their lives rather than something which might get turned into an epithet. So these economically distressed workers are people whose incomes are so low that they can't get out of the bottom of their own housing market in their area for a family of their size without spending more than 30% of their income to do that. And the federal standard is 30%. You shouldn't spend more than 30% of your income on housing, otherwise you won't have enough money for everything else that you need. So that's how we look at the problem. And we found that in the United States, it's almost 21% of the labor force are people who are in this economically distressed status. And it varies. In metropolitan areas, it's higher. Here in New York, I just have the numbers just here. It's in New York metropolitan area, 29.4% of the families and households in the New York metro area are economically distressed. And it goes as high as, in Miami, it's 32.4%. In Los Angeles, it's 31%. So we're talking about really a lot of people who are in very, very serious situation.
Well, Steve Greenhouse, on the campaign trail, John McCain talks about Joe the plumber. Barack Obama talks about the middle class and tax cuts and policies that address the middle class. Why aren't either one of them talking about this sector?
First, the phrase working class is kind of forbidden from political talk in the United States because people are going to be accused of being class warriors. So unfortunately, that phrase is rarely used. But I think they're